Platiqué con el periodista Alex Yablon, que esta semana publicó un reportaje en The Trace sobre el uso de estas armas por parte de los grupos del crimen organizado en México. Last October 17 in Culiacán, that day when Ovidio Guzman was detained for 4 hours, the Cártel of Sinaloa used American-made weapons. One of them, the Barrett.
Right. So there were actually 2 incidents. A few days before that, there was an ambush in Michoacán where I believe 13 or 14 police officers were actually killed. Similarly, the Jalisco New Generation cartel in that incident used 50 caliber weapons. So I was interested in these weapons because they are freely available in the United States in all but 3 states. Mm-hmm. And they are extremely powerful. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of attention paid to weapons like the AR-15, which is used in so many mass shootings in the United States and are also smuggled down to Mexico in large numbers. But these very large caliber rifles like the Barrett are particularly dangerous because they can be used by cartels to not just shoot people, but, you know, take on like an organized police force. You know, they can disable vehicles mm-hmm. and helicopters, and yes. Really, you know, they can be used like almost like an army uses weapons rather than, you know, just criminals or yes. You know, a mass shooter.
Yes, we just saw a soldier who lost a leg because of this kind of weapons there in Culiacán, Sinaloa. Is this that easy to buy a weapon of these characteristics there in the United States?
Well, they're very expensive. They cost about $8,000 or more to buy. So for most American criminals, you know, organized crime is not as strong in the United States. You don't hear about these weapons being used in the United States, but you know, the transnational criminal cartels, it's $8,000 is pocket change. And the weapons are just not, except in a couple states like California and Connecticut, they are sold like any other weapon. The only barrier beyond, you know, passing a background check is whether you can spend $8,000 on a gun.
The United States is saying that it's going to contribute to stop gun trafficking. Of course, this would be very, very useful to stop violence here in Mexico.
Yes, it would be, but the Trump administration has not said specifically what they will do. You know, they'll have meetings with, you know, members of the Mexican cabinet and say, yes, we're going to cooperate. But, you know, as long as it is so easy to buy weapons in the United States, and, you know, it's hard to say what they're going to do that could really stop this short of change of laws. You know, they're not going to search every single car going south. You know, as much as the Trump administration plays up this sort of hysteria about the border yes. and what, you know, unregulated things crossing the border, they don't really care about guns or drug money going south.